What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Merricks Garage. Showing you guys some stuff on the Bourbon today. I posted up a picture over on my Instagram this past weekend, I think, of my the dash with new LEDs in it, and it blew up. I was amazed at how much interest there was on the LEDs in the dash, and that got me thinking. There's a lot of stuff on this Suburban that I'm going to be taking care of. And it's gonna be right up your guys' alley. I know the Blazer's awesome. Trust me, I love it. But I also recognize that there's not a lot in common with a vehicle like this mechanically anymore. I mean, different dash, different engine, different transmission, different suspension, different interior, everything. Whereas this guy is bone stock apart from the lift kit and things like that, which I'm gonna remedy here because it's unsafe. So I'm looking forward to giving you guys a bunch of videos just on the basic stuff that I'm doing with this. Freshening up the suspension, fixing some of the steering woes that I'm having, tidying up the interior, replacing some of the trouble parts. I've done a bunch of that already, and that's what I want to show you this week. So let's get to it. Merricks Garage. What attracted me to this truck in the first place was just how amazingly clean it is inside. I haven't really given you guys a good look, and it's a little dirty now because I have kids and, they like to throw things everywhere. But look at this. Look at this interior. I got a bunch of stuff back there. But man, it's so spacious. I mean, it's so clean. What do you think, little dude?
Good.
You like it?
What do you think?
What do you think, Cindy?
I think she says no.
They love it. So, all I've done so far is do some work here on the dash. This dash pad, and I will be ordering a new cover for it, but this is a new dash pad that came with the truck. The previous owner had purchased this to put in, and I wasted no time in installing this thing because the old one was all cracked and sun bleached and damaged. And so while I had the dash out, I took the opportunity to replace the speakers here and the speaker over there, the two tweeters. And if your truck's like mine, which I would count on it being, there's a speaker hole under here that you can put a 4x10 in, I think. I'll get you the specs. All of the parts that I'm going to be using, I'm going to put up in the Amazon store. I'm linking that down below. Amazon.com/shop/JWMerrick. Get you to my Amazon store. I've got it all broken down into like suspension parts, tools, LED lighting, steering, all that kind of stuff. I just dump it all in there for you guys to go and see what I was putting. So I don't need to give you guys part numbers. You can just find the stuff over there. But for the dash, I had the opportunity to pull this dash out when I replaced the dash pad, and I swapped all the LEDs over. But it was a really easy upgrade, and it has made a huge difference in how this thing looks. And that's what is so cool about these trucks. There's such a deep aftermarket support for them that pretty much every part you need can be bought and replaced. Now, that doesn't mean you need to spend a grip. I'll tell you some of the little tricks I've learned along the way. Here's an example. This power lock. They want and I say they, but you guys probably figure out who I'm talking about. I think it's like $90. Go down to your junkyard, buy a door, have a spare door, make sure it's power, and you've got regulator, you've got actuators, you've got possibly, I don't think there's any relays in there, but you've got all the switches, you've got all the trim. Instead of getting nickel and dimed when you're buying all of this little stuff, just go and buy it all at once when you get a junked out door. Or if you're like me and you've got this Suburban where there's not going to be anyone really using the door lock on the passenger rear, I pulled the switch from the passenger front and stuck it over here because I had a malfunctioning switch on this side. And then I went one step further. I went to my old doors off my Blazer, which haven't worked in forever, and I robbed the switches off of that to put over there. So I got all new switches, essentially. They all work at least. So that was just one of the first things I did. Dash pad, switches, fixed everything. That these clips were all breaking and coming out. I replaced all that stuff. I got some pictures I'll show you of that. And then I replaced all the speakers, and that's made a huge difference. This did have an aftermarket head unit already. It came with this guy right here, which was really convenient. And all I did was look up the specs on this head unit, figure out what the peak watts that it could handle, and make sure I got a speaker that was in that impedance range and watt range. Now, if you're not interested in getting into the weeds with all that, you don't need to. Just go buy some speakers. Once again, I've listed them down below. Speakers, head units, stereo stuff is so cheap now. I mean, you're not going to get all the bells and whistles if you buy a $30 stereo, but realistically, you don't need all the bells and whistles. They're all going to do a job well enough for you. So I replaced the speakers in the back, I replaced the speakers up front, and I added another one into the dash, and this thing sounds mint. I also went and got the AC fixed. All it needed was oiling and filling. Now, it did take, I think, 5 pounds of R134, which is a lot. But this is a big vehicle, and it needs a lot to cool down. And, you know, this AC is working to cool this whole thing down, which is impressive. Probably going to go to a vintage air setup eventually, just because it saves so much room and is a much more efficient system. But for the time being, totally works. So yeah, there's just a lot of little stuff that I'm going to be buttoning up on this guy, and based on the feedback I've received from you guys want to see videos on that, so right on, we're going to get some cool videos coming for you. I hope you enjoy them. In the meantime, let's take a look at the rest of the truck, and I will show you some of the upgrades I have planned and some of the ones I've already done. Freshening up the lighting in here is a huge step towards making it look a little bit cleaner and more modern. These little tiny LED bulbs you can get from Amazon for a couple bucks go in all these spots. Yeah. Now, there are quite a few steps to getting the dash out, but it's fairly simple. You're essentially just pulling all the screws out. Just pull them out carefully. That's all you gotta do. Just pull them out carefully, put it back in the same order that they came out in. Now, the trick that you'll find with a lot of the lights in the dash, they are, they're soldered into the socket. Now, that's not that big of a deal because the wiring on the back is pretty old and we'll usually just pull right out. I'll show you what I mean right here. I'm gonna swap out one more and then we'll start buttoning this back up, but I will get some pictures at night so you guys can see what it looks like. It's just a really good way to freshen up the interior. So here's the challenge with these guys. If you look at the back, you can see they've been soldered in. So there's probably a special way of removing these, but I just go like this. And it's out. And then I take one of these guys and I pull the leads down like this. Then I feed it through. Making sure they come out the other side. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more detail on how to remove the dash because I realized I was a little bit vague back there. If you're just doing the LEDs, there's no need to remove the dash pad. It is fairly simple to remove it. There's just a few bolts that go along here, and then you've got clips underneath the dash, so the dash pad is actually gonna slide out, but I'm sure you guys are more interested in how to work with the cluster. So let's go take a look at that real quick. Just remember, you're dealing with 30, 20, 40-year-old plastic that is being in the sun, being in a hot car. It's brittle. I was actually impressed as to how strong this plastic still was, but just be careful. It all does come apart fairly easily, but be patient, be gentle, and don't force anything. So there's gonna be a bunch of screws, obviously, that you guys need to remove. Screws here, all the way down, all the way up here to get this initial cluster over. It may help if you have a tilt wheel to tilt your wheel down to get things out. And then once you get underneath, once again, a bunch more screws to remove. The thing to remember is the actual cluster itself that has all the gauges on it. it has to be popped out a little bit. You'll find that it's behind the dash and you've got to work one corner, then the other corner to get it out. There's also going to be a electrical connection behind it that will need to be undone before you can get it out completely. Be careful though, that electrical connection does have a 12-volt hot on it, and if you let it ground out along the dash, it's going to start popping fuses. Ask me how I know that. But that's all there is really to it. It's not that difficult. This is an hour-long job. Just don't use power tools. Use your smarts, use your hands, and enjoy your new dash. I'm not used to doing videos in the dark, so we're gonna have to see how this comes out. But I did want you guys to see what the LEDs look like in the dark, because that's the best time to see them. So let's go check it out. LEDs on. Yeah, well, let's turn the headlights off so you guys can see better. I'm really excited about the new chapter that this Suburban opens up for me and the channel. I feel I've got a great opportunity, great canvas to bring you guys tons of features and videos on little things that I do. Projects that don't take 3 months, projects that just improve the handling, safety, appearance, performance, ability of these machines that are budget conscious and are easy to do. So this is the first one. I'm gonna have a ton more coming. Hit me up and let me know what you want to see, just to give you a sneak peek of what is coming up. I'm gonna be doing some work on the suspension. Right now, for whatever reason, someone put lift blocks up front. My shackle angle is all messed up. I've got a broken spring on the other side. The steering, someone reclocked the steering wheel, I believe, down on the drag link because I don't have full rotation to the left and I've got excess rotation to the right. I've got that to deal with. I've got some gremlins in the engine that we're gonna get cleared up. All little things, all stuff that will be helpful to you guys. Remember, I have a new website. I'm gonna be putting more detail on the website. So these episodes will be detailed down below in the show notes, but also over on the website. I'm gonna get more color commentary. It gives me more space to talk about my background thinking and why I went the way I did. I'm fired up. This is gonna be fun. This thing is driving great. I'm loving the engagement I'm getting from you guys, and I'm looking forward to moving the progress down the road with this guy and turning this thing into an awesome rig. More awesome than it already is right now. So thanks for watching. Go check out the store. Hit that subscribe button. I got all kinds of stuff for sale now. Hats, t-shirts, stickers, stuff like that. And we'll see you next week.